welcome to the World of Wrestling podcast. Here today to discuss about the AEW May 7th, 2025 Dynamite review. We're going to go over the entire card, what happened, my thoughts. My thoughts real simple. The show was fucking bland as hell. I was more interested in looking at scores and seeing how my New York Knicks and New York Yankees were doing, and both of them actually won today, coming back from a large deficit. So I'm very happy with both of my New York teams that I enjoy watching whenever I can. Good old Knicks are 2-0 in the second round of the NBA playoffs. I'm fucking stoked as shit for that. Don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how they're going to close out this series. I still believe they could possibly lose because they're just prone to doing that. But hopefully that's a different story and they prove me wrong and they continue to do what they're doing. But yeah, Dynamite. Not much to say. Main event had Samoa Joe and Claudio Castagnoli in a very quick match. I'd say it was about 10 minutes, maybe. Wasn't all that exciting. Claudio Castagnoli tapped out instantaneously when he was in the rear naked choke. Not much happened on this show. MJF attacked the Top Flight, beat the living tard out of them, made one of them partially bleed, and then wiped their blood on his shirt with a little bit of blood. It wasn't... I guess he was trying to be like Brock Lesnar, only it failed miserably. Bobby Lashley continuing to string this along and lead MJF on. I don't know when MJF's going to realize that he's an idiot. And creatively, that's all they're making MJF look like, is a fucking dope. They also go ahead and have him cut a promo with Will Ospreay backstage and says that he hopes that he does win the tournament and the world title so he can be the guy that takes the title from him later on in the future, and it'd be like taking candy from a British baby. I don't know if that was the best British accent or impersonation I was doing, but whatever. But Will Ospreay was like, it would have been easier if you just was in the tournament, You could have won the matches, got your way to the world title, main evented, all that. Instead, you're spending your time, trying to get in the Hurt Syndicate, which basically is everything everyone else has been saying. So I guess apparently Tony Khan got, heard this around the wrestling community, so he figured, let me just throw that in there just to insult the audience intelligence even more with this hawk of shit storyline that they're having MJF do. Outside of Adam Page with MJF has been in very terrible storylines this year. I am not impressed with what they've been doing creatively for him. He's still trying, though. He's still trying to get whatever he's doing over. He's trying to turn shit into gold. And I gotta give him A for effort, but my God. They are making him look like a complete and utter clown at the end of the day. I'm not impressed with what they've been doing with him at all. Truthfully, they're not doing anything impressive with anyone at this point. Hangman Page, he had a segment on the show tonight that kickstarted the show. And that had Will Ospreay and him having a face-to-face confrontation verbally. So, it is what it is. We had a fatal four-way women's title eliminator match with Toni Storm in the match. She's just having continuous title eliminators. This one's in a fatal four-way match against three other potential opponents for her world title defense in the future, which that did not happen. She won the match. Toni Storm actually celebrated with Thunder Rosa, Thunder Rosa celebrated with Toni Storm after the match was over, even though she was part of the match to begin with, so she suffered an L. I mean, these people just continue to insult my fucking intelligence, and I'm starting to notice more and more. I mean, this is just fucking sad shit. Really, this is. But let's get into it. If there's much to get into. Anyway. So Hangman Page makes his entrance. He says he has been questioning why they would cheer for him, and he was interrupted by a chant by Cowboy Shit. And Page says it does not make a difference, so thank you. He should not have to say it, but the past 2 years have been some kind of special hell. After what happened to him and his family, he wanted revenge and justice, and he found it. He took from another man his hopes and dreams and nearly killed him. After their cage match, he stood on the ramp thinking he'd find some sort of joy and peace, but found nothing. A complete and utter void that he needs to continue to fill up and can't find joy in himself. I love this. This was an excellent promo. I really did. I enjoyed this. The story that they tell at Hangman Page, this is an ongoing thing since the inception of AEW. Hangman Page has always been sorrow, sad, depressed, not very happy most of the time. He's had this story where he's up and down, not really, he doesn't really smile all that much since the inception of AEW. He's very serious, he most of the time angry, and he had a drinking problem at one point in his run in AEW with the storyline they put him under. He, was depressed about not winning the AEW World title from Chris Jericho and the inception of the AEW World Championship coming into existence. He's had some downfalls more times than not, and yet he's still found a way to win the world title, have wins over big names like an MJF or other people on the show. Swerve Strickland being another one, like the one he's mentioned in the steel cage match at All Out last year, which again was fucking brutal. So Hangman Page has had most of his career, clouded by doubt and negativity, just a dark cloud over him, character-wise. And to me, that seems to be like the long-term story. I can imagine like Hangman Page being the guy to beat Will Ospreay. I think I would lean more towards that, because there's a story to that, being that Hangman Page finds his redemption. He wins a world title on a major big stage against a big name like Jon Moxley, who is been around for quite a while, has been running roughshod through AEW, has the leadership of the AEW brand name on his back now at that point, if he was to win this match, and be the guy to finally end this Death Riders saga that has been going on since fucking October of last year. I think that would be more storytelling and more story-driven if we were to go with Hangman Page, based on the emotional story you got with him. He has a lot to offer with his story compared to Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay's got everything going on for him. He is, like he mentioned against MJF, he says he's on another level. Hangman Page isn't. He's an underdog. He's a blue-collar, scrappy worker in AEW. He's been working his ass off to get to the top. You got a hell of a story there, and being the guy to dethrone Jon Moxley in front of a huge-ass crowd of like 40,000 people possibly, that's a hell of a way to end a story with this sad, unhappy guy of Hangman Page. We can finally turn the corner with him being more of a happier dude, feeling more of having a purpose, having the leadership of AEW on his back. That would give him purpose, that would make his frown turn upside down. He'd be a world champion again, and there you go. The other aspect of it is, I mean, you can't go Will Ospreay and still have that same story conclude with Hangman Page becoming world champion at the end of the day by having Will Ospreay win the world title like I originally mentioned, beating Jon Moxley, and then Will Ospreay doesn't have like a long drawn out title reign. It could end like during the fall or Full Gear or something like that. I mean, Full Gear would be a pretty lengthy reign, I'd say. I think that would be fair for him. And then have him drop the title to MJF, and then you could have Hangman Page win the title at Wembley Stadium against MJF and get his redemption on MJF saying, oh, well, I'd win the title long before you would ever win it. You wouldn't fucking win the title, period. And yada, yada, yada. And I'd be standing over you and yada, yada, yada. But that would be long, drawn out, way too fucking long to be doing that. I honestly think you got more of a story with Hangman Page winning the title from Jon Moxley at Wembley Stadium, or from Texas, than you do with Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is a great performer. He's got everything going, but Hangman Page has the bigger story, I think. I mean, some people might disagree and say, oh, well, what's his story? It's this 5+ years of him being depressed and feeling like he has no purpose, and he's just non-stop all the time, just this depressed guy with feeling he has nothing going on for him. He's got nothing going for himself. By him being the head of AEW, the face of AEW, that would give him purpose and make him feel like he has meaning in life. You know, it would uplift his career. He would have some sort of thing to look at and say, wow, I did something amazing. And I won the world title the second time in front of a fucking huge-ass crowd. Which, for AEW having 20, 30 to 40,000 people, I mean, that's not their norm anyway. So, I mean, that is considered a huge-ass crowd for them. So anyway, he took... So he thought he'd find joy and peace in that, getting revenge, but found nothing. For one moment, he thought he could get back in the ring and finish the job. He would be happy, but he couldn't. And the truth is, he doesn't know why. He thought taking his anger out on those who get close would help, but it did nothing. So he had to make a decision. He mentions his rival by the name of Swerve Strickland, prompting whose house? Swerve's house, from the crowd. Page says he will never forget what he did to him, and he probably will never forgive him either. But he will have to put it behind him. He talks about entering the Owen Hart Cup tournament, advancing after wins over Josh Alexander and Kyle Fletcher. The final stop on his journey sees him taking on the man they call the best wrestler in the world today, Will Ospreay. This brings out the man himself. A big pop for Ospreay as he heads to the ring. Chants from the crowd indicate it is Ospreay's birthday as Ospreay addresses his opponent for Double or Nothing. I apologize about the noise in the background. That was my wife watching a movie or TV show that was where the noise was coming from. Hence why I paused. I'm not going to do anything to the editing here. I'm going to leave it as is because I have a limited amount of time to use this iPad, which gives me an hour or so to use, so I'm not going to redo everything over again. So, we continue where we left off. He says Will Ospreay says it's a pleasure to finally meet the Hangman, but also apologizes as he understands how much the match means to Paige. One of his favorite moments is when he took the Misfits, known as the Dark Order, and gave them a leader, with the support then helping him become AEW World Champion in a moment that was perfect, but after he lost it, everything changed. He continues on saying he gets it. It's been a rough couple of years for Hangman. Last week, Ospreay and everyone else saw something from Paige after he beat Kyle Fletcher, something we haven't seen in a long while, and that's Adam Page smiling. Ospreay talks about everyone wanting to see Paige rise back up, but he has one problem with that. At Double or Nothing, Ospreay is not losing. He addresses what Paige did to Jeff Jarrett, Christopher Daniels, and Swerve Strickland, saying Ospreay's been handling all the media and other jobs that Paige hasn't. He calls the Hangman out by saying this is not about his redemption, but Ospreay's ascension. I like that saying by Ospreay. They both have legitimate reasons to win this match and both become world champion. It's just who's going to be the one to reach it first, really, is what it is. The two stand nose to nose, arguing with no mic between them when the Don Callis family show up on the stage. Callis runs down Ospreay for leaving his family, though he's nearly drowned out by the crowd booing him as Don asks Will if he knows who he's standing in the ring with, calling Paige a sociopath. This angers the Hangman, but Ospreay holds him back as he calls for Don to pick any two of his men to face the pair. He struggles to get through this in part because of the crowd giving out to Don Callis, and then when Paige grabs his hand in retaliation, Callis takes advantage of the tension by accepting the offer, suggesting that Paige might have another mental breakdown in the process. The family walks away as Paige and Ospreay exchange some more words to each other before Hangman leaves the ring. So next week we're getting Can They Coexist type of storyline. Wow. Creative genius by AEW. Taking something that has been utilized multiple times and still is being used to this day, even in the WWE. What a fucking... Why do we gotta have a tag team match with the Don Callis family and Hangman Page and Will Ospreay? Why? Why do we need to do this? And I believe the two men they chose was Takeshita and Josh Alexander. I believe. And why would we do that? Why would we put Josh Alexander in a match where he's going to have to take an L, whether he's the one eating the L or it's Takeshita? What does it fucking matter? Neither one of these guys need to take an L. This company is fucking retarded, honestly. I don't know what the fuck they're smoking. The promo was great. The setup for a match between these two, between Don Callis' two teammates that he puts together and fucking Will Ospreay and Hangman Page was absolutely fucking dumb. Commentary runs down the lineup for tonight as well as preview, excuse me, if I could fucking speak for once. Preview Beach Break before Stokely Hathaway and FTR arrive to the booth to talk to Tony Schiavone after recent remarks and actions on Collision. Stokely runs down Schiavone, who cuts him off before Cash Wheeler tells him to relax. They turn their attention to Daniel Garcia ahead of a match set for Collision tomorrow night, with Dax Hardwood closing things by telling Tony to tell Nigel they'll see him tomorrow night. Top guys out. Okay. Backstage, Anna Jay gets a bit of hype from Harley Cameron ahead of the Women's World Title Eliminator match. Tenacity and aggression are the keys to success here, among other things. They say TNA, and Anna Jay says, "We have tits and ass, you mean?" She goes, "Yeah, we have that too. I have the tits, you have the ass." Very sick, demented comedy relief, I guess you could say. She's like a female version of R-Truth. Anyway, with that, we head back to ringside, and Toni Storm makes her way to the ring. We have her first match. It's a fatal four-way match with Toni Storm, Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, and Anna Jay. Of course, Toni Storm wins the match. She doesn't have to defend the title against anyone. She wins by submission, making Penelope Ford be the one to eat the L. Storm celebrates, giving a high five to Rosa as commentary talks about what's to come later tonight before we go to a commercial break. Come back from the commercial break, we head back to ringside where crew can be seen getting to their seats before the Hurt Syndicate make their way out to chants of "We Hurt People" by the fans in Detroit. MVP gets a microphone to make an official announcement from the Hurt Syndicate, introducing Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley to a pop from a crowd as he reminds us that they are the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Yes, where are all the best tag teams to face and try and take the titles away from the Hurt Syndicate? I'll tell you why. There's no tag teams for you to face, because AEW's tag team division absolutely fucking sucks. That's why. Now comes Top Flight. Haven't seen them do jack shit on this show. They had a promising career. They are legitimate tag team partners because they are brothers as well. Good tag team, but never has been utilized on television. Private Party, another group that is a tag team, but never utilized on television since they lost the tag team titles. Where are they at this point? Are we ever going to see them get a rematch? Are we ever going to see them do anything on this fucking show? The Young Guns, they're another tag team. The sons to Billy Gunn. We're not seeing them on TV anymore. They had one title opportunity for the tag titles and they lost. And now they've been put up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. I don't know. I have no idea. This is absolutely asinine, this company. And I'm just sick and tired of watching it. I really am. I honestly do not give a flying fuck about AEW's content anymore, guys. I really don't. This is very depressing. You got a guy like MJF running around trying to earn his right to be in the Hurt Syndicate when he could have just been in a fucking tournament to begin with. And he doesn't want to work harder, he wants to work smarter. I don't know what he's talking about, but apparently the working harder seems to be trying to get in the Hurt Syndicate than it is getting into a fucking tournament and trying to win the damn tournament to earn a number one contender's opportunity for the world title. Makes no fucking sense to me. But hey, this is AEW we're talking about. So, Top Flight addressed their struggles as of late before saying they look at this as an opportunity. Really? You don't get an opportunity for the World Tag Team titles while you've been struggling. You have to earn wins, W's. Then you can claim yourself as the number one contender for the fucking AEW Tag Team titles. Can you imagine in UFC or boxing, you go ahead and you've suffered a string of L's, and then you're just randomly given a world title opportunity in your weight class just because of your fucking name? What a bunch of fucking dummies. This company is so fucking stupid. So, Hurt Syndicate like to hurt people and they know how to get back up from being hurt, they say. The Top Flight. They know they're underdogs in this fight, but they also know they can hold their own against the top teams in this business. Really, what top teams have you faced? What the fuck have you done lately? That's what I'd like to know. Collision? That's where you've been. Like, nobody fucking cares about Collision. Look at the ratings. It proves it. 200,000 fucking people watch your damn product on Saturday nights for Collision. Oh, they're moving Collision to Thursday night tomorrow. Whoa, big fucking whoop-de-doo. I wonder why. Maybe because of the NBA playoffs. Because Turner Warner, consider the fucking basketball, the actual playoffs for the NBA more important than your fucking Mickey Mouse show. How about that reason? You guys suck. Absolutely fucking blow. Anyway, let's continue on. They ask if the Motor City wants to see a miracle, but MJF blindsides them instead. He says he lays into Dante and Darius, sending them into the steps and ring post respectively. The crowd, recognizing what this is, chant "We hurt people" as MJF continues to, hurt Top Flight. He hops onto the apron, staring Bobby down. As he enters the ring, MVP hands MJF the microphone, and MJF declares that he hurts people, to the big pop from the crowd. Lashley takes the mic from him, the crowd still chanting "We hurt people," as the Almighty smiles at Max before telling him he'll have an answer next week. This gets boos from the crowd as MJF music hits, allowing him to leave up the ramp as the syndicate looks on. So we drag this out some more. I kind of can get the gist that this is all going to lead to Bobby Lashley and MJF in a one-on-one match at All In. It could possibly also, this match could lead to a match between them at Double or Nothing too. That's a possibility. We still have another 2 weeks left. We have the 14th and we have the 21st. So we have those 2 episodes left over to actually build towards booking this match taking place. And God knows, we all know that Tony Khan loves his 9-10 matches on a fucking 4-hour show. Because he's got to have 4 hours. It can't be just normal 3 hours. And if you're going to do a 4-hour show, why can't you do it at fucking 7 o'clock? The main card. Why does it got to be at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night, you fucking moron? What a dipshit. I truly hate this fucking Tony Khan dipshit. No wonder why the Jacksonville Jaguars absolutely fucking suck. My God. I mean, I literally, guys, I dread watching AEW. I literally did not watch AEW until 20 minutes in. I was more concerned about playing a NBA 2K video game than sitting there and watching a 2-hour fucking show of AEW. Because I knew this was not going to be good. I knew it wasn't going to be all that exciting. It was somewhat decent. It wasn't terrible. But it was, I mean, if you missed it, you didn't miss nothing. I mean, Monday Night Raw was better than this shit. It really was. It fucking kicked its ass. Hands down, without question. But, yeah. So, we go backstage where the Elite address their opponents in the Trios match later before Okada tells Kevin Knight, "Good night, bitch," before walking off. Ricochet confirms that he can help the Bucks solve the Swerve Strickland problem tonight, and he leaves. Just as we see the MVPs, Just as we see the MVPs going into the locker room, the Death Riders are waiting inside, and Marina Shafir shuts the door really quick. Meanwhile, it seems the Death Riders want to have some words with the Young Bucks and so forth. So that's pretty much what they're trying to get across here. They're probably negotiating a deal to become allies in all this to ensure that the world title stays with Jon Moxley, and that's pretty much it. Next, we had the Ring of Honor Television Championship defended. Once again, Nick Wayne defending it against a former ECW legend. A two-time, he's a two-time world champion, Rhino. Does anyone care? I don't. Anyone gonna remember this? Probably not. But yeah, Nick Wayne wins the match. I believe he won it with Kill Switch. Yep, retained the title. But tensions continue to mount between Wayne and Christian Cage as the patriarchy plays tug of war with the championship belt and his title before eventually refusing to put the title around his prodigy's waist. From there, we cut to footage of recent developments from Collision surrounding Roosh, who issues a warning to Kevin Knight. Back at ringside, Mark Briscoe makes his way to the ring. We start up our next match on the card, which is All-Star Trios match. Yeah, it's always an All-Star. We got an All-Stars. Is there an All-Star game coming up soon? Like, am I not aware of? Like, what the fuck's going on here? Anyway, the Young Bucks and Ricochet went up against Swerve Strickland, Mike Bailey, and Mark Briscoe. Good matchup. I thankfully it wasn't as long as the match that went 30 minutes long. I mean, I was about to say 3 hours long, but God knows that would be fucking horrendous to sit through a 3-hour trios or multi-man tag team match. But yeah, the Young Bucks pick up the victory with a small package on Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland eats an L. After the match, they retreat up the ramp to celebrate as we go backstage where Renee talks to Ospreay about the tag team match set for next week. Ospreay is interrupted by MJF, who makes the AEW shop shill before talking about wanting to see Ospreay win the Owen Hart Cup tournament and win the AEW World Championship at All In Texas. He also kind of degrades his audience, his customers, by saying, yes, go ahead and buy my Dynamite diamond ring at AEWshop.com so you can make me richer and you more poor. Like, what? What the fuck are you saying to your fucking audience saying that shit? That is dumb as fucking crap. Anyway, Ospreay mocks MJF by suggesting he is afraid to face him again, but MJF insists that he wants to prove that ain't nobody on the level of the devil, only for Ospreay to remind him that he's on another level. With that, MJF walks off as we go to a commercial break. Coming back from the commercial break, we have a sit-down interview with Jamie Hayter, who talks about what this match means to her. Doesn't mean nothing. You're just another victim to the Mercedes Moné beat your ass, suck my balls club. That's pretty much all this is. You're just on a laundry list of people that lose to Mercedes Moné. Nothing less, nothing more, nothing less. She runs down Mercedes Moné and her remarks last week, calling the TBS champion the antithesis of what Owen Hart stands for. She wants to know the woman behind the hype. She also talks about feeling insulted by Mercedes, saying she reminds her of herself, admitting Hayter doesn't have the same star power, but she does have integrity, grit, and truth. This is about showing Monet that she is not unstoppable. Jamie pivots away from addressing her past back issues, but is soon interrupted by Mercedes Moné attacking her from behind. They fight out the room as we head to ringside, and sure enough, we find them duking it out in the box seats. Mercedes runs away, heading to the ramp before managing to dodge a Hater raid to escape to the back. Hater's music hits, but not for long as Monet blindsides her before locking in the statement maker. Officials run down to break it up, and Mercedes finally breaks the hold before posing with the Owen Hart Cup trophy. Wow. Next, we go backstage once more, this time hearing from Willow Nightingale as she addresses the Death Riders before Chris Statlander approaches her. The issues they had in the past bubble back up as Willow refuses to address it directly, but she does offer a challenge to Statlander for a match on Collision tomorrow night, to which Chris accepts. Didn't they just, like last year, destroy each other in a fucking street fight? Like, wasn't that part of the things that was going on? This fucking company is retarded. Anyway, back at ringside, Okada makes his way to the ring to have a title eliminator. Another title eliminator. We've had 2 title eliminators on this fucking show, folks. 2 title eliminators. I'm just dumbfounded by the fucking stupidity that's booked on this show. Okada faces Kevin Knight. Obviously, Kevin Knight loses. Okada wins the match. Nothing really exciting happens. Very predictable. Who gives a fuck? Champ celebrates by laying in another Rainmaker on Knight before Bayley runs in to stop Okada from inflicting any more damage. Okada escapes up the ramp with his title as we cut backstage. Don Callis and his family want to raise the stakes after RPG Vice were initially set to face Paige and Ospreay, telling the Hangman and Will Ospreay to get 2 more guys alongside to face the family as a whole, promising bad things will happen for the pair. Okay, so apparently from what I'm getting, they want to do a 8-man tag team match? I'm not sure, but I thought they mentioned that it's going to be a tag team match, not an 8-man tag team match. But I could be wrong. Who knows? Who fucking cares? I'm barely paying attention to the show week after week. We cut backstage where Bobby Lashley is asked to give us a response now instead of next week, but the Hurt Syndicate has brought in legal counsel, and they will heed his advice. He speaks, and they listen. With that, they walk off, and we cut away. What a fucking joke. So, moving on, we get to the main event. Samoa Joe versus Claudio Castagnoli in the main event. Samoa Joe wins by submission. And that's how the match ends. After the match is over, there is no time to celebrate. However, as the Death Riders look to go after Joe until Hobbs runs down with a chair, this forces Mox, Shafir, and Yuta to back away as the Powerhouse makes an example out of Claudio Castagnoli by slamming the chair against his back before handing it over to Samoa Joe. He mocks the Riders from the turnbuckle before Joe hoists Claudio Castagnoli to slam him onto the propped up chair. The crowd chants Joe's name, the world champion staring him down ahead of their steel cage title match next week on Beach Break, as commentary runs down the coming week's lineup to close the show, and that's pretty much it. And that's all. That's all we got. that was your show for AEW Dynamite, May 7th, 2025 review. Show fucking sucked. Some decent wrestling, I'd say. Wasn't terrible. Some decent storylines, but very predictable shit. 2 title eliminators, a fucking Ring of Honor television title defense with a Rhino return for a one-time only match. Guy fucking needs to retire already. His fucking physique looks terrible. He does not look like the Rhino of old. I mean, granted, he is old, so it's kind of hard for him to have that physique. So why the fuck do you continue to come back? Outside of having a paycheck, that is. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's all I have to say at this time, so you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great night.